are not negative or positive. Like emotions are the physical sensations that we experience in our body that let us know how we're experiencing our world. Like to me, that is amazing. That means that you have like antenna, like
Welcome back to In the Midst podcast, guys. I'm Kia.
And I'm Debbie.
And this week, we're so excited to have our guest, Sara Smith, with us. We're going to be talking about abuse and trauma and just the importance of therapy. And we thought, why not invite someone who's actually like well-versed in this, who actually has the knowledge about this. So we're going to give a quick intro to our guest today. So Sara is a registered psychotherapist, and she specializes in supporting adults working through the impacts of abuse-specific trauma. And she does this through the importance of noticing and being with your emotions, building awareness of the body, creating an internal sense of safety, identifying strengths, and ultimately learning coping skills to help facilitate growth, healing, and development. So she focuses on curating a space and for wellness, and also understanding the importance of the mind and body connection. So without further ado, we would like to welcome our guest, Sara Smith.
Woo! Yay! Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're so excited to have you. And I personally know you, Sara, from our uni days, which were, oh my gosh, crazy times. But I remember all the moments where I would be in your room and we would just have like life discussions. And honestly, you were definitely a highlight of my uni days. So I'm very grateful to have you on our podcast today. Yeah, so we're gonna get started with some icebreaker questions just to get us, comfortable.
Yes.
So first question is, you've been given an elephant. You can't give it away or sell it. What would you do with the elephant?
I've been given an elephant and I can't give it away or sell it. Okay, I guess I'm building a place for it to be on my property.
Valid.
I guess it's going to be a part of the family.
Yeah, part of the family. Okay, totally. Yeah. And so with it being a part of the family, I mean, that requires a lot of work. So, and that requires a lot of money to be able to feed it. So how would you life
over the financial means?
Okay. Absolutely.
And I'm going to take classes. I'm going to learn like, what do elephants need? I'm going to figure it out.
Okay. Okay. Absolutely. Love that.
Yeah.
All right. Question 2. What color is money?
What color is money? Just whatever comes to mind. What color is money?
Sure.
Okay, so I have 2 polls. There's an initial reaction of wanting to say green.
Yes.
But then there's also a sense of like, does it even have a color? Like, I'm wondering, like it's a means to an end. I don't know. Like I'm in between. So I'm going to say green, but also it doesn't have a color.
You know, it's so crazy. Like when we were picking these questions, we were like, automatically it's green. And we're like, it's because America literally controls the world, because we live in Canada with purple, blue. We have red,
like our money is so many different colors.
Yeah, we're conditioned.
Equate money with green. Yeah.
Yes. And also there's a beautiful green plant behind you. So I'm like,
true.
Yeah.
Okay, no, good answer. And last one. If you had a choice between 2 superpowers, being invisible or flying, which would you choose and why?
So to be able to fly means I'm going to be seen. So that feels interesting. To be invisible, not to like take away from the moment. I mean, that is a familiar experience. So you know what, just to step out of what would be the norm, I would say to fly. Just to be able to have more access to see different things in a different way.
Absolutely. That makes sense. Absolutely.
The way gas prices are right now too, like if I could fly, like why not fly? Like
I need my own person in the telecom to let me know when certain planes are moving, so I don't, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
No, for sure. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully we didn't like throw you too off guard with those.
No, I love
Respect
that.
those.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna actually pick your brain and like get
Okay.
into some contextual questions. So
Yes.
first one being, so is there a difference between a psychotherapist or a counselor or like a social worker? So like a lot of the times people might be looking for therapy or counseling and they're just like, who do I choose? So what would you like, is there a difference? Is there a difference between those?
I would say that all of those different areas utilize psychotherapeutic modalities, which is just different treatment methods. So there are similarities across the board. Social workers absolutely can provide psychotherapy, psychotherapists, and counselors as well. It depends on, I guess, their training in terms of like what they specialize in, what their titles are in terms of like their education backgrounds. But for the most part, to be honest, there are similarities across the board. It just depends on what you're looking for specifically. So when you're looking for support, you want to just kind of look out for keywords or terms that align with what your needs are. Like specifically trainings or styles of therapy that fit with what you need. And oftentimes when people are looking, they don't necessarily know what they need. So you would definitely want to look at just a list of different things that the therapist or social worker or counselor identify as things that they focus on as a way to see if like it fits for you. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. That provides clarity. That provides a lot of clarity. I appreciate that. All right, next question. So tell us about yourself. What made you go down the road of psychotherapy?
Okay. Myself. Okay. Well, for me, I am a deep thinker, and I think Debbie knows this.
Yeah.
I'm a deep thinker. And for many years, I guess I realized now that, deep thinking doesn't necessarily equate to deep feeling. So learning that there's a whole different experience from just thinking something and actually feeling it. And so when I kind of got aware of that, it kind of really boosted an interest in understanding that process and just learning and seeing so many different people go through different challenges and experiences, my own personal challenges and experiences, just really kind of birthed this interest in wanting to support people. Also, I love to hear, I love to listen, and I love to have conversations. So it just made sense. And I love to support people. I love to see people shift and change and get to witness that process. So I think for me, like being a lifelong learner, totally a nerd, and totally enjoying the process of getting to witness different parts of people's lives and support them through it, really made me want to actually, take it in a more formal way in terms of going down the road of psychotherapy. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. That's really good.
I like what you said about like being a deep thinker is different from being like a deep feeler. Like that really sticks out. And it's just like, wow, you can think of, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So then as a believer, because that's also like part of like your foundation, how do you link your faith and therapy? And like, was there kind of like, maybe even was like being a deep thinker, did that play a part in that as well? And like going down that
yes, for sure. I often have lots of questions. Like, I really want to be intentional when I'm reading something, when I'm learning something. I want to be like participating in the learning, not just like taking it in. I want to ask questions so that, it's a real experience. And as I was learning about like the mind and body connection, honestly, it just further strengthens my faith, because I am honestly in awe, like of how creative and thoughtful and intentional God is, among many like other things, but just every aspect of how we are made is intentional. And for me, I want people to learn about how they're organized, how they're designed, because it's so empowering to understand, this is why you experience certain sensations in the body, or this is why you might have certain patterns of thoughts or reactions. Like just understanding the way you are wired and how beautifully protective your system is. It just, I'm oftentimes just like, wow, like you thought of that too? Like, seriously?
Wow.
So just, yeah, for me, that's how it just strengthens my faith. It just helps me to see how creative God is. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so do you, just like off of that question, do you
Yeah.
typically, so let's say you have a client that isn't of faith, do you ever bring that in, or is it more that if your client is someone of faith, you would then have those kind of discussions?
For me, I believe in like showing versus like having to directly state. So for me, like being given the opportunity to demonstrate like practical applications of compassion and love through my work is how my faith shows in my work. If a person is like demonstrating to me that they have faith, then I will respect and support them based on that and how it influences their life. If it's somebody who doesn't necessarily demonstrate that, I will respect it. But still, there's so much to learn just from sharing space and like having that perspective and being able to highlight like you are beautifully and wonderfully made. Like just even if I'm not saying directly that this is my belief in my faith, I'm able to demonstrate it without like calling it by a specific name. And that's how I choose to approach the work.
That's good.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. And like, just as you're saying, in faith, you're just simply stating like you were fearfully and wonderfully made. That is scripture.
Yeah.
And someone who's not faith may not know that, but they can be encouraged to hear that and be like, wow.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That's
absolutely. And it's a gift. I honestly see this as a gift. I know that I have like certain skills and like talents that I was given. And so this is like a really beautiful way for me to get to like honor and like just build those, learn and grow those different skills and talents through this kind of work. Yeah.
That's incredible. Wow. That's incredible. We love that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess then how has your experience in your field shown you that trauma can have a negative effect on experiencing the fullness of joy in one's life?
Okay. So I don't think it's trauma in and of itself that has a negative like impact on our ability to experience the fullness of joy. I think it's how we make sense of it, which then informs how we react to it. And that can create the barrier to experiencing and holding space for the fullness of joy. Oftentimes, like humans respond to trauma by disconnecting. That's how we survive, when we don't know what to do with the emotions that come with the experience. The challenge here is, though, when we cut ourselves off from part of our experiences, we are then disconnected from not only the pains, but also the joys. You can't pick and choose.
Wow.
It's kind of like, I heard it before, this analogy where it's like, my whole life I've been breathing through a straw. And then now it's like, I'm really breathing. It's like, you don't get to pick and choose. It's like, it's either you're gonna be in this and feel it all and allow it all, and obviously take space when you need to, if it becomes too big, or you can't pick and choose. And that's something that I've learned and I've had to learn to accept in my own life. And it's just remains true. And honestly, when you notice that you have that experience of like, I don't really feel like I have joy, or I'm not really connecting, like I have so much love, but I feel disconnected from it. That's a sign. That there's some areas that you're disconnected from that you might need to get support in really connecting with, so you can really enjoy your life, right? Like really enjoy what's there now. Yeah.
Wow. It was like, even when you were saying, like when you said the straw analogy, I took a deep breath because I was just like, imagining.
Like just see that image, right? Like for me, that was really powerful too. Like a lot of us are living our lives breathing through a straw.
Wow. And all because, like you said, when we experience trauma, we block that out. And when we do that, we're actually blocking out the good experiences as well. Like we need to experience the pain. And I think we've talked about this in a previous episode about, what was the episode about again, where we're talking about trauma and how, I mean, just speaking on myself, like I am the type of person that's like, oh, I don't like negative experiences. So block away, bury it away. And then I was like, into the last year, I'm realizing like, ooh, I got to really feel the feelings, good and bad.
And, you know, I want to honor that because I understand why we want to get away from it. Like if you don't feel like for whatever reason, if you don't feel safe in your body to feel your feelings, why would you ever want to feel them, right? So it's not that you can't handle it. It's a skill thing. Like if you knew that you could have access to skills and know how to not only lean in, but step back with intention, it wouldn't be as scary. You would feel empowered. You'd feel in control. You'd feel like you have choice. And that is what I want to, you know, offer to my clients, like the choice, so that you feel like, okay, I feel something, it's uncomfortable. And maybe I don't necessarily want to feel it, but I know I can handle it. I know I can do it. And it's not going to, you know, wipe me out for the rest of the week. I won't be able to function. I won't be able to operate. I feel that I can do this safely.
Wow.
Right?
That's girl. Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
This clearly, this is like, you're amazing. Like I'm already like, you're causing me to really think, right?
And I want to just add something because my spirit is like, so when you say negative and like, I understand the term, I really do. But emotions are not negative or positive. Like emotions are the physical sensations that we experience in our body that let us know how we're experiencing our world. Like to me, you know, that is amazing. That means that you have like antenna, like you can walk into a room and feel the energy that's in there. And based on that information, you can decide like, is this space safe for me? Like, should I be here? What should I do? What do I need? Right. And when we categorize emotions as negative or positive, that means that some are okay and some aren't. But all emotions, you know, they're just information. It's biological feedback.
Wow.
So if we can accept that they're all allowed to be there because they just, you know, inform what we experience in the world, then it gives us a different level of acceptance. Like we can feel some relief, like that it's okay when I feel sad, or it's okay when I feel happy or worried. It's just, what do I need to do with this? Is it something I need to accept, or is there something I need to do with that information?
Wow. I love that you're saying that. And it actually just takes me back to when we're younger. I think like just in terms of how we categorize our emotions, like, there's just like songs and things you do as a child to kind of express how you're feeling. And it's so interesting now in the education system, like at school, we put emotions in 4 different categories. So it helps children to regulate how they're feeling. So and it's based off of the one movie, I can't remember what it's called, but
Inside Out.
Yes, exactly. Yes. The red, the blue, the yellow, and the green. So like in the education system in the Waterloo region where I'm at, that's very much so. And it's not saying like red is bad. It's just like, oh, are you feeling red? If you're feeling red, then let's actually help you regulate these anger, frustrations, like excitement, whatever it is, in a better way. So I love how we're getting away. Like I can see that, how we're getting away from that. Because that's so like pivotal that you said like your emotions are information. They're not
information.
Information. So if I'm feeling like this, what does that mean? What do I need to do?
Or what do I need to accept? Because sometimes the doing is accepting. Maybe there's nothing. Like, have you ever felt sad and it just hit you and there's nothing you can do about it? You just need to sit in it. You just need to accept that you're sad. Like just let the sadness, that's a common thing I'll say, like, just let it be there. Like, don't fix it. Just let it be there.
Wow. And that's crazy because it's like, I think that also comes with categorizing emotions as bad or good. It's like, sad is probably a bad emotion. Like I need to get far away from this. But it's like sometimes, and especially like even like spiritual growth with God, I'm like going through like, actually going through my anger or going through sadness, like actually grew my character, like going through it, not trying to run away from it. Oh, I need to like be happy right now. Like, because I'm not going to be happy right now. Like it's going to be false. It's going to be like, it's a facade. It's not real. So actually going through it and like obviously like seeking counseling and therapy so necessary.
Also some support to go through.
Like friends, and then also just like prayer. It's just like in this moment, God, I am actually so sad. Like I'm so sad. Like
and you know, when I think about that, like why not be okay with that? Because God has feelings too, like, and so many different feelings, and he expresses them all. Like, why not? Like, why can't I am a reflection of him. Like, why can't I also honor that that's how I'm made, to have different feelings?
Wow.
It doesn't mean I have to live my life, you know, emotionally reacting to my emotions, but it's just a part of me because I'm human and I feel, period. Like there will never be a time that I don't feel unless I'm not here. And like, you know what I mean? But like, I will always feel. That's just the way I'm designed.
Wow, that's powerful. Okay, let's get into the next question. I think it's related to this. So the next one is, what's it look like to not only acknowledge one's wounds and traumas, but to actually work through them?
So there's a definition that I use, and so I'll read it. So it's just this idea that mental health is the outcome of the commitment of daily practice of maintaining the relationship that you build with yourself, mind, body, and spirit. And I think that acknowledgement is definitely a necessary first step on one's journey towards change. But I also think that we all need to find our own like individual balance between, you know, acknowledgement and action. So like, what steps are we taking? Who's a part of our support team? You know, formal or informal supports. It also means taking accountability. Once we become clear that something is not working, giving ourselves permission to grieve what we've lost as a result of these experiences, but also what we have gained. Because it's not just losing, but there's also some gains, like some skills that you developed as a result that you know, need to honor. And also just, right? And like wisdom. So like, how can we allow for like compassion? Like, how can we practice like pausing? Like, what skills do we need to be able to like acknowledge it, but also do something with it, whether it's accepting something or making a change in our life. I think that that is what it would look like.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Wow. And then I guess, so community and fellowship, like and like just like friendships in general, like I've recognized it, like Debbie obviously is, I'm sure has recognized, I'm sure you have, like they're just such important aspects of our life. So how do you feel being part of a healthy community contributes to someone's well-being?
It is so important. Because, you know, encouragement, like it's the encouragement, like healing community is everything. Like, I think that we need each other. And we're so connected, like we are influenced by each other. So you have to be intentional about whose energy you like share space with, right? Like, one of the lessons from like physics, the only thing that I remember from physics in high school, I think the person who said it was Sir Isaac Newton, but I'm not sure. So I don't know. I have to look into that. But it's this idea that energy is neither lost nor destroyed. It's merely transferred from one party to the next. So like remembering that is like, okay, this is very important in terms of like the people that we have in our spaces and the people we should be, you know, share connection with, because it influences. So if you have a certain vision for the life that you want to live and want to be in alignment with certain values and beliefs, you want to be intentional about, you know, who is sharing space, because energy, like it definitely is transmitted for sure. And it's important to be intentional about having community and prioritizing your community space, because we need it. We need the encouragement. We need the support. There are going to be times when we're not doing so well, and we need someone to notice it and be like, are you okay? Like, what do you need? And I know that there's many different scriptures about this in the Bible that really kind of affirm the importance of community. And I think it's important for us to really reflect on what communities we're involved in, and like, noticing how our communities support us.
For sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. That makes sense. I think we were even recently just talking about like when you're struggling in certain areas of your life, with things that you wish sins you wish you would overcome or could overcome, how it's important to confess those sins and talk about those things to people that you trust and care about and love. So yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Next question. What would your response be to someone who has experienced something traumatic and says, I don't need therapy, I'm good?
Yeah, I love having conversations when I hear that. Just because like it's wonderful. Like I just love people who are blunt and direct. Like I think it helps so much with the process. But I personally believe that it's in the quiet spaces where God reaches us. Like it's in the quiet where we find truth, like to whether it's softening your heart to give you a lived experience of like just a taste of like his compassionate love. And I think what I would ask is like, do you feel peace within yourself? Like, honestly, like, do you feel peace? And like, I would just like provide space for them to really think about that. Like, because I really think when you ask yourself that question, you're like, yeah, do I feel peace with myself? But at the same time, just validating their level of readiness, because everybody's on different stages of change, and it's a process to be ready to accept somebody into your life, to talk about things that are uncomfortable. And therapy is just one of many different ways that you can, participate in supporting your own wellness. But people need to feel safe to enter into that process. And for all we know, their experience of vulnerability hasn't been safe. So why would they want to have a conversation with a stranger about, their innermost painful experiences? So just respecting that it might feel dangerous. And maybe there is someone else in their life that they feel safer to connect with, and maybe encouraging them to have conversations with that person first, because it needs to be relevant to them. It needs to be relevant. Like there needs to be a sense of something is not working, and the way that I'm doing it is not working. I need help, right? Like there needs to be that level of awareness before you can actually start the work. So I would also say like therapy doesn't mean something is wrong with you per se. It just means that like you want to support your life. You want to have a different experience. You want to expand like your experiences.
Right. And I think that's,
no, go ahead.
I think that like point is super important because that's something I even had to like overcome in my own life. It's just like, and to be honest, sometimes in the Black community, it's just like, oh, who's going to therapy? Like, I'm not going to therapy. Like, we don't need that. But it's just like,
it's admitting you have a problem.
Admitting, and it's just like, okay, I'm not going to therapy because like, I'm so like damaged and have we all have issues. Everybody on this planet has an issue. So
everybody.
But it's like, I'm going here because I want to address them. I want to grow them. I want to like learn how I can overcome them. Like, and why not consult a professional? Like, why not actually like take, and like, if you have, obviously like sometimes it's not available to everybody, but it's like, I've been privileged with the opportunity to be able to seek this out. So why not?
That's true. It is a privilege for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's good.
So next question. So what is some advice that you would give to a client or even like our audience that is outside of the stereotypical therapist response?
Okay, so here are some reflective questions for the person who's unsure about therapy, who's unsure about vulnerability, because it's really just vulnerability. It's really just sitting in vulnerability. Is there anything that's not working in your life? Do you feel at peace within yourself? If you knew and accepted how short and fleeting life is, would your spirit be at peace with knowing that? Is there any area of your life where you wish that things could be different? If you were to leave this world tomorrow, like, would your spirit be at peace? Do you feel you are living your life authentically, like honoring all the parts of who you are? If I were to talk to younger you, what would they want for you? If I were to connect with future you based on how you are living and moving through your life now without any changes made, would they say that you have lived and done the things that you within your mind, your body, and your soul were assigned to do? Like, would they say that anything is getting in the way? And that's what I would ask. I would just want to offer those questions and just see what lands. Because sometimes we just need to be confronted with things differently.
Wow.
Right? It would be so easy for me to say, like, you know, it's important, do it, it's great. Like, but it has to be relevant. Like, if it's not relevant to you, like, you're not going to be committed to the process. You're going to go to one session and then that's it. Right? You have to choose it. You have to say, I want it. And then the rest will come. Yeah.
I really like the aspect of younger you versus future you. I really like thinking about, you know, younger you. I think about younger me, vulnerable, insecure, all of these things. And then now, and then future me, like I feel like having that kind of question asked, it just, oh my gosh, creates so many questions in my head. I'm like, wow, that's, I feel like we got to bill you for this conversation. Because I'm like, I'm getting therapy right now. It's awesome. No, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, like, honestly, like, those questions alone, like, I just feel like even if you decide you still don't want to, like, I would be at peace knowing that you're thinking on these things.
Absolutely.
And like, it's not my job to like grow anything in you. I just want to plant some seeds. Like, I just want to say things that I know that could be helpful and see what happens, like, for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's so crazy. Like, as you're saying that, I'm just finding correlation just in like faith, like in God in general as well. It's like, you can tell someone to do something all the time. You can tell someone, oh, like, Christ is Lord. They're not going to listen until God opens their eyes. Like, at the end of the day, so how much more for like therapy, or just like realizing like you need to like address some things, or it would be beneficial for you to address some things and surrender. So yeah, like, that is, wow, just like being relevant to you. Cause I definitely like had that process myself as well. It's just like, yeah, I know this is a great idea, but like,
that's right.
Confronting those things is very difficult. It really is. It really is.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And at the same time, I think it's necessary. But I wouldn't even say that. I would just, I want to offer it in a way where it feels like you can receive it. I don't know, like, I feel like when we say things like, it's good for you, it's like, it doesn't land for people. It's like, there's a resistance. What do you mean it's good for me? It's like, like, if there's any defense around it, like, it's like coming at it from a different perspective, like a more compassionate, like, but really, like, real talk. Like, what would future you say? Like, seriously, have you ever thought about that? Like, what would younger you say? Would they probably would be excited with like where you're at, but also like, what would they say about this?
Yeah.
Would they say that you've really attended to them and the feelings that they had, like that part of you, or like, have you been ignoring that part of you? Right? Like, yeah.
Wow, that's good. That's really
Sarah.
good. I know, she's killing it. She's killing it right now. Wow. Okay, so I think the next question is, what is one thing you would like our listeners to take away from this discussion?
Okay, so one of my favorite Bible verses is Jeremiah verses 29 and 11. Sorry, chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. May the people who are listening, may us included as well, I'm hoping that we will find a way to feel safe enough within ourselves to address whatever is stealing our joy, our abilities to just be, our abilities to enter into the soft life, into ease, and like your connection to God's peace coming into your life in its fullness, like really getting to really embrace and feel that. May we find a way to feel safe enough to address whatever is blocking that from happening.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay. My tea's done. I need a drink. Like that. Okay. So finally, Sarah, we just want to ask, can you provide us with a website or ways that people can get a hold of you? And also like say it verbally, but like we're going to also link everything down.
Yes. Okay. So right now I am on Psychology Today. So if you like type my name, it's under Sarah's Place, but if you even just type Sara Smith, like it'll find me, you'll find me. I'm also on Instagram, and obviously that's not a therapeutic space, but I find it as a really great way just to offer little nuggets for the person who's not ready to, you know, enter into the process of formal support. Just a little bit of encouragement, you know, pop on the page and get some words of support. There's so many different things. I often will share like little nuggets of things from sessions or conversations that landed really well for people. I will share it. So I don't post every single day, but when the spirit moves, I'll post.
And your posts are great. Your posts are great. Like literally the other day, I was like, ooh, something you posted. I was like, this is good. I saved it. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's Sarah's Place on Instagram. I think there's like 2 underscores, like underscore Sarah's Place underscore.
Yeah, we'll make sure everything is either linked on the screen or have it linked below for sure.
And I think I want to also say, you know, no matter what happens in your life, healing and change are always possible, always. You're not alone, which is the standard one, because you really are not. You're going to be okay. You are going to be okay. You're not forgotten. You are not forgotten, and change is coming. It's already done. You just have to accept it. Like you just have to choose to allow it into your life, and it's already done.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, Sara, this was absolutely amazing. Like literally, honestly, there are points I'm like holding back tears because I'm like, I'm just reflecting. I'm like, wow, amazing. So I'm so happy and so grateful that you were able to join us today on this wonderful morning and just share so much of your knowledge, your wealth of knowledge. Like I said, we're gonna have to bill you later for this because this was therapy in of itself for us as well. So grateful. And like we said, guys, you guys can find all information about Sara Smith or Sarah's Place in the description box below. And so yeah, we just want to say thanks again, and we will see you guys again next week for our next episode. Have an excellent day, guys.